What's going on, everyone? We're to Turn Two Terribles. I am Jimmy Barr. I'm here with Chris Lynn and Josh Aaron. Uh, Thank you for tuning in. We had a little bit of technical difficulties there, but we're here. We're here. It's a Wednesday. Yeah, I know. We're off.
Complete restart. We're fine.
Just a complete restart. We're good. Line them back up the way they were qualified, and we're good. We got a lot to talk about this week. We got Kansas this past week with NASCAR. We also had the Joey Logano, William Byron dispute. We also had a lot of go on side. We had just lots of races, lots of stuff to talk about there. We also got NSRL starting tonight. We're going to be going right into that right after the podcast here. So we're really excited about that. We'll talk about that a little bit. And thank you guys for checking us out. We did get a new subscriber, Beerline Racing over there. Aiden Beerline, really good iRacer. Thanks for the subscription. Thank you guys all for checking us out and watching.
You know what you want to say to that?
Oh, that I beat Aiden last night
in
the heat race. He might have let me win. He might have let me win.
That is your home track.
But he got the win last night in the Posse League at Lernerville. But I beat him in the heat race, so that's my victory.
Heat race hero.
All right, guys, let's just get right into it. We had Kansas this past week. Kurt Busch with the win. Much needed win for him. 23-11, really fast. Kurt and Kyle Larson really going to town. Lots of blown tires. Let's just start with Kurt Busch. How'd you guys feel about Kurt Busch with that win?
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Right. I think we knew it was coming. We talked amongst ourselves, obviously, before the podcast. When Kurt Busch got announced there, everyone expected he's going to go there and make that team better, and he's going to win. He's done it at every organization he's been to. So it's exciting. It's good for him. It's good for 23-11.
Is this fourth or fifth different manufacturer that he won with?
I guess it's fifth.
Right.
Fifth.
So he's won
Dodge, Ford, Chevy.
Yeah.
Now Toyota. So four.
And fourth organization, I believe, right?
Maybe it's his fifth organization. Yeah. Fourth.
No, because he won a Penske.
Yeah, Penske was a Ford.
It was a Dodge.
No, that was Dodge then.
Right. It was a Dodge then. He won at Ford SHR, Chevy with Ganassi, Toyota. So yeah, Dodge. Well, obviously Ford was Roush too. Mm-hmm. But it was a Dodge when he was at Penske.
Yep. So Ford manufacturers.
Five.
No. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Dodge.
Right. 5 organizations.
5 organizations.
Math is hard for terribles.
Math is very hard. We are not.
That's why we stand in turn 3, boys.
We got to 2 and just stopped counting.
But yeah, I mean, he's had a hell of a career. 23-11 brought him in because he still is a top driver in the Cup Series. He's just a world talent when it comes to racing. He's very versatile, very good in everything that he gets into, and he's done it before too. He was like the first one in Furniture Row racing, I believe. Am I right on that? And
I think he was. You're right.
So he's used to coming into from a ground up almost organization, and trying to come in and be competitive and help build that up. And I think the perfect teammate for Bubba, perfect driver for Jordan and Denny Hamlin, and it's good. They've been fast. They've been getting faster. The Toyotas didn't come out of the gate very strong, but they're getting faster, more consistent, and it's just a matter. And Bubba and the other Toyotas, just getting some luck and having completely clean races to rip off a bunch of wins here. And Kurt finally was able to do it. Well, a hell of a battle with Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I'm excited for Jordan too. I mean, to find to get a cool car with his shoe sponsor on it and to be a part of that team. Like if I was a diecast person, that would be like one of the first diecasts that I would buy because it was awesome, and he's put a lot of money into NASCAR, and I think he brings a lot of non-NASCAR people into NASCAR. So I think for him to finally get a win with a Jordan design is cool too.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think we're done yet. I think you're going to see him and Bubba both win races over the next months.
Yeah, Bubba passed the most cars. His pit crew really let him down. He had a fast car. He was up. He ended up finishing 10th, but he really passed. He was back and forth all day. He just couldn't maintain that position because every time he would get in the pit, something would happen. He had a uncontrolled tire on the last pit stop that put him way behind, but he charged his ass up there to 10th, which was cool to see.
Not as bad as Eric Jones' team let his pit crew.
Yeah.
He had a very controlled tire.
Yeah, they couldn't get that thing off. That was crazy. That was probably the most entertaining. One of the most entertaining
It
things about the
was.
race was watching them trying to figure out how the hell they're going to get it off. And he only lost like 5 laps or something like that, which was impressive considering
Like, got a wheel off.
everything they had to do to try to get that off and still get another one on without destroying the entire rear end. You know, it was pretty cool. Unfortunate for him though.
I thought one of the cool parts, I like Larson. I appreciate Larson, the talent he is, but he went up a couple notches this week in my book because there was the time where it looked like Kurt pushed him up to the wall, and Larson comes over the radio. He's like, "No, I had room. I just got loose," and then got into the wall. He
Yep.
could have easily,
Said, "Oh, I got squeezed." Like
Done the
like,
Logano
a certain,
thing and-
like a Logano.
right.
Like, Kurt Busch
He was
played that
ripping the top.
perfectly. Kurt Busch played that whole move perfectly. He kind of made it look like he was going to go, I'm going to come up there, but get all the way there, and then doesn't have to, doesn't door him, doesn't do anything, and he just drives in the wall. So you made him make a decision. You maybe you spooked him a little bit. I doubt it. But still, it made Larson into a mistake, which is peak NASCAR or even peak racing.
Yeah, for sure. And Larson, that was a perfect Larson track. Just ripping the top with the progressive banking. Tire wear being an issue. It was really cool because you had 2 lines. You could really run the bottom if you wanted to, even deeper in the run. You still could. Or you could just rip the top and save some tires and still be pretty fast. They had a lot of rain there that morning, so it washed a lot of rubber off, but they put a lot of rubber down, which was interesting. I think that's something to take notice of because it looked like Dover is notorious for laying down a bunch of rubber, and you could visually see it as the race goes on.
Yep.
But it was pretty cool. I mean, definitely one of my favorite races of the year so far. It was just exciting, good racing throughout the field, and I was kind of even though I'm a Larson fan, I was happy to see Kurt Busch win.
Yep.
Toyota. Speaking of Toyota, 5 of the top 6. I mean,
I think they took 5 of those 6 to the R&D center. So,
well, actually, all 6 of them in the top 10. So
I think yeah. Go ahead.
You think what?
Well, I don't nothing. I mean, they're not doing anything you shouldn't do, but NASCAR made sure they want to find out what they're doing because they took 2. So I guess they took the 23 back to R&D and the 11 or somebody else, and they checked over those cars in tech, from what I heard.
Yeah, but no penalties or anything. They didn't do anything different. They just might have
we don't
finally
know yet.
figured something out.
Put a bigger motor in it.
I don't know about that. Ricky Stenhouse also had a great run. That's a couple weeks in a row now where
Yeah.
he's been sneaking up in the top 10. So it's not just the Toyotas finding speed. You're finding some of these other guys
Figuring out the car.
unexpected or expected, just figuring out the car and figuring out these tracks. And I think some of the practice is helping some of them. And it's really the tides have kind of turned. I don't want to say the tides have kind of turned, but it's just adding to the parity this year. I mean, there's having all this talk. We're halfway through the regular season now, and just having one win might not be enough to get you into the playoffs with the way that it's been going. With all the different winners. But it's been fun. I think this car it's revitalizing the 1.5 miles for sure. And it's just putting on good racing, especially I think it helps that the drivers don't fully have a grasp on the car yet because it's making them drive on the edge more and they're still trying to find it. Not that we want to see wrecks, but that you have a lot more comers and goers and just guys figuring out earlier than others than just letting the equipment do all the work, like it was kind of towards the end of the last generation.
Yep.
Well, just to add to that, like Larson, how many times is his car sideways, smoking the tires, drives out of it? You still have these guys have to wheel to some bitch, right?
One of the moments of the year was Larson sliding He slid Kurt and then was completely sideways all the way out of turn 2. And then he just stayed in the gas, saved it. I think he might have rubbed the wall a little bit. That probably saved him from going all the way around.
He caught it with a quarter, but still, yeah.
But no damage to the car, no tire rub or anything like that. And they were still drag racing down the backstretch. Like, just, I mean, you haven't seen this type of racing in NASCAR, especially at the 1.5 miles, in a long, long time.
Yep.
Usually it takes like a really, really hot day for it to be really slick for them to get that racy, but it's not like that right now. It doesn't matter. It's green racetrack and it's very racy. We got Tyler Isley in the chat saying most humble Kyle has been all year. He's getting, I think that championship really maybe in general. I mean, I think it got a little bit of a monkey off his back, and now he knows he has a target on his back a little bit more, and knows he's not, especially with this car, maybe knows that he's not going to be as dominant as he was last year. So, I don't know.
Still badass.
Anything else you guys want to talk about from this race? I mean, we had
I think I think the theme all season, I think it's going to continue to be these smaller teams showing up, and I mean, I know 23XI, they're still, they're working with Gibbs. They're a smaller team, but they're not. But I mean, still to come in for Trackhouse and 23XI to be doing what they're doing this year it's impressive. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with it being everybody's new to this, so it's the best time for them to do it. But
Toyota's definitely at a disadvantage because the manufacturers are working closer together than they ever have before. And when you only have 6 cars out of a 38 car field, and you have all these other manufacturers working or other teams working within the manufacturer together, kind of does put you at a disadvantage. They probably didn't know as much going into the season, Switching gears here a little bit, let's go back to 2 weeks ago real quick. Don't want to talk too much about the race. I want to talk about the finish. And that was when Joey Logano, let's say,
just call it what it was. Punted the shit out of him.
Let's just say he moved William Byron out of the way for the win. I know I have my opinion, but I wanted to hear what your opinion was on this. What did you guys see there with Joey Logano?
He didn't even try to pass him. I mean, he's a champion, aggressive driver. He went in there, whatever, do it. I want to see what happens. I mean, 2 parts. I want to see how he responds when it happens to him.
Yeah.
So we talked about Ty Gibbs earlier in the season, and I want to see what William Byron's going to do. He's a nice little boy. Like, go do something. I'm not saying go Matt Kenseth him and go in there in Martinsville and just like murder his car. But at some point, they're going to be around each other. I want him to not be afraid to go do that. And I think we're going to learn a lot about William Byron here. We know what Joey Logano is now. We knew it for a long time. So
he's been like this most of his career, pretty much, if not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Josh. What did you think?
No, I agree. I think he. I think it looks worse than what it was because if I saw a couple times in slow mo, like Byron was checking up because he was loose. I think Joey was getting to him. I don't think he meant to move him that much, but he did. But I mean, that's Logano's MO. That's what he does. That's what he's always done. He's not done, he's never changed.
I think the last couple wins he had to move somebody out of the way to win.
If you're Byron, you gotta know who's there.
Yeah. But for me, my opinion was Logano didn't even try to pass him clean. He knew he was going to get to his bumper.
It's a faster car.
But he did, if Byron wasn't there, he's going into the wall. Most likely. Would you agree?
Right.
The way he dove into the corner there, if he doesn't hit him, he's probably sliding up the track more and going into the wall.
Maybe.
Just
he went in high. I'll give it that.
Pass.
Yeah.
He went in with the intent to hit him.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we're saying.
And the reason why it the entire time too.
Josh said about, we don't know, maybe he just drove in too deep, and no, he said, he put me in the wall in the backstretch, so I got him back. That's not even what happened. So
I think is such a
Idiotic.
bullshit excuse.
Yeah, that's just
the punishment didn't fit the
stupid
crime
base.
there for Logano to come back and do that. Logano and him were racing off it. You could say he squeezed him, but he never touched him and put him into the wall.
Nope.
He squeezed him a little bit, but you're racing on, you're talking a matter of a couple inches here that Byron misjudged compared to fucking 100 yards that Logano didn't even misjudge. He judged it correctly and just booted his ass. I get it's for a win, and that's the culture that NASCAR has cultivated now, but that's just not even fun to watch.
Go back to Coda and you look at like Ross Chastain did. Anything to win. If someone goes out there and punches him in the face, I don't think Joe Logano. He still might make a aggressive move, but there's no fear there. Like, why? If these guys, I don't know. I know sponsors about dollars matter, but I want to see someone go out there and punch him right in the face. Maybe not in this case, but maybe in the Coda case.
I'm not going to defend Joey Logano at all. I think that what you're starting to see though is it's stacking up, and it's looking like another year of everybody's having to deal with fucking Hendrick, and everybody's tired and they can't get faster than him, so they're just going to start moving them. Hendrick's not going to have a lot of leeway when it comes to all these other drivers because they've been beating them for years now.
It's true. That's a good point. 1 year. Byron
Elliott got lucky in 2020. Their team hit it right in the playoffs. Last year they dominated. Before then, they weren't even competitive by Hendrick standards.
They were still top
there,
team, but they weren't winning nearly as much.
But now you got 2 years, and now the first part of this year has been pretty much all Hendrick,
right?
Besides Trackhouse.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, I think you have more contenders this year.
Hendrick's been very good.
The difference with Hendrick is all their cars are good. All their cars have won. You're not seeing that with the other organizations. You're seeing 1 or 2 strong guys, and then maybe the others aren't keeping up. They're not as strong throughout the entire organization. Hendrick's strong from top to bottom. Any one of those 4 cars could go out and win every week.
Right.
So maybe that's what it is. I don't think they're as dominant though as they used to be. But
I don't know. If you're Logano, own it. I just wish you would have tried to pass him. Frankly,
me too.
Or at least do that going into turn 3 on the last lap.
I would say, just typical Logano if he went in there and if he just did what he did. But then for him to follow, I did not think he's like, well, he put me in the wall out of turn 2, and everybody's like, what? What are you talking about? And then he doubles down on it this past week when he was being interviewed at Kansas, when he was talking about, hey, if he wants to keep going, I'll keep swinging. Right. Meaning if Byron were to retaliate to him. And it's kind of like, I get it, because Logano's kind of had maybe a reputation of being a bitch, but and now he's kind of, stepping up a little bit and saying no, enough is enough, but especially to a young kid like Byron. But
what's Byron said all week?
Byron's he just called him a moron.
I didn't interview he's a moron and has to pass his way like that. He's one, he had a moment, and 2, not wrong. He wasn't going to beat us unless he might be wrong about that. Logano was clearly faster, which is making it more frustrating. I don't know. And since then, though, throughout the week, I don't think Byron said anything ultra interesting, which sounds like a William Byron thing, but still.
Right. I think he's just going to go out and let his drive and speak for himself. Logano, where did he finish this past week? 17th.
Yeah.
So they didn't have speed. He just didn't have it. He wrecked in practice. He had to come from the back, but he still never had any speed.
That's the thing. I think there's a lot more urgency with Logano. There's a lot more urgency because he doesn't know when he's going to be in that position again. These Hendrick guys, they're there every week.
It's true. We had Tyler Isley in here talking about Chase Elliott. He took offense to, I think, what Chris said about being lucky. He won 3 out of the last 5 races, including.
Can we go back to my comments a few weeks ago where I hate the playoffs? That's why. One of them reasons. And I'm a Chase Elliott guy in a way. Now that he's not in the 24 car anymore.
We also had Jeremy Zarfo saying more parity this year than any other year in NASCAR history. I agree. I think it's the The new car is, they had a couple ups and downs with it. They still got to figure out these tire things, but you knew they were going to have issues throughout the year. But I think the car has produced so much better racing at tracks where it was kind of you could get strung out much easier. I think that's the main thing. The tracks that were racy to begin with are always going to be racy no matter what cars you put out there. But the 1.5 miles and some of these other tracks that maybe kind of used to get boring after a while, I think they're going to have good racing throughout, and I think that's part of it.
Minus iRacing, all the next gen haters are gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
before the
absolutely.
season started, everybody was shitting on the next gen. Nobody liked it. It wasn't ready. And minus iRacing, you don't hear any of it now. It's all gone because the racing's better.
Jeremy Zarfos with a little nugget here. They took each manufacturer back to the wind tunnel after Kansas. I think this is what you were kind of alluding to, Chris. Somehow there's an aero advantage again per manufacturer. I think they knew that at the beginning coming to it because of the different nose style and everything that they had.
They said something. I guess they made a change to the Fords at some point in the offseason because they had some kind of advantage also. And maybe that's why they've also struggled outside of like Daytona.
But that's good. We want to see that.
Right.
Make the manufacturer important again. We don't want a huge advantage, but let them all keep, jockeying for that advantage. And, it's good for the brand if they have winning cars out there that are out there dominating. It's good for the sport because you keep the innovation going. You keep the team striving. As long as it doesn't get too dominant. As long, you know what I mean? Yeah, they got to catch it. Do they have to change anything? I don't know.
Yep.
I think the main thing here, and I think the idea going with this next gen here is, the kind of the way that they've gone through is like they're not necessarily banning things, but they're just making the data open to everybody. All right, here's what they're doing.
Yep.
Here you go. You know what I mean? I think that's better than you got this advantage, let's take it away. I think that used to be the mindset years ago when they were trying to get things a little more equal. Now it's like this is what this team's doing. Now everybody knows. There's no secrets. Doesn't mean that, but it doesn't mean that they're taking away unless it's something completely out of the, big, like whatever Brad Keselowski did.
Yeah. Poor Brad. You make it back to the top 30 yet?
No, I don't think so.
Ooh.
He's got a long
I mean,
way
he
to go.
finished 14th last week.
Right, he's got to do a lot more of that to get back in the top 30.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, for sure. That team is, when Chris Buescher's looking like the strongest car out of the two. No disrespect to Chris Buescher, but he's not exactly top 5 every week either.
31.
He's been stronger, but
Brad Keselowski, 31.
Oof. That
Brutal.
is tough, man. That is brutal. But hey, that's what he signed up for. He signed up to try to turn that whole team around.
He didn't sign for the 100-point penalty
for a post-racing career, So
at 100 points, that he's probably in the top 20.
Oh yeah.
I doubt that. I don't think he's in the top 20 points wise.
Josh, how far out of 20th is he? He's probably closer.
I mean, do you I'm trying to think of. You have guys like
he would be 19th, right behind Kurt Busch.
Yeah, fucking.
If it was the old points.
No, if his 100 points
if he had his 100 points back, he'd be 19th, right? He'd be in between Daniel Suarez and Kurt Busch.
If he didn't have the penalty for maybe not fixing the bumper good enough.
Yeah. Jeremy Zarfos in here again. I disagree completely. Aero shouldn't be a planned advantage by NASCAR. This aero advantage thing has been going on for 20 plus years now, and it's tiring. I mean, it is what it is. It's just, I don't think it's a planned advantage. I just think it's, it's part of it. They're the cars are so low now to the ground and all that, just how they are.
The only thing is if you're going to have an aero advantage, someone needs to have an engine advantage. But you feel like the old days, like Robert Yates. Right. Make them all the same.
Hey, here's their aero advantage. Here you go, manufacturers. Here's what they're doing.
Figure out how to get to that level.
Figure out how to do it too. You know what I mean? I mean, if it's that much of an advantage, they'll do something about it. But to me, it seems like they've been a little more hands off, just slightly, because it's the new car and they're all still figuring it out. But I don't know. Well, let's go into dirt. And going into dirt, let's go into our Jeremy Zarfos photo of the week, and this one is Chef's Kiss. Right there, look at that. That is Brent Marks out of turn 4 at Williams Grove, passing Carson Macedo. That would put him in second position. Jeremy took this on top of Brent's hauler, which is pretty wild. Just wheel standing out of there. Brent Marks went on to win on Saturday night, $17,500 after Jacob Allen, who led all 28 laps previously, ran out of fuel on the final restart. This was the passer that set that up pretty much. This was pretty much the race winning pass right here. So shouts out to Jeremy. Beautiful pictures. Great moment in time. Just great job. That's
It
what
might be one
Jeremy's
of my
done.
favorite. It might be one of my favorite ones so far, to be
Yeah,
honest.
this is my favorite.
Like
100%.
the Macri one a couple weeks ago was cool. This was getting there.
Yeah.
He's the pro.
Yeah, for sure. And just the moment makes it that much better, and for him to be able to capture that in that way is just fantastic. So let's start there with dirt. Williams Grove this past weekend, Chris, me and you were there all weekend. Friday night was
You could even start at
unfortunate.
Lincoln if you wanted to.
Well, let's start. That's what I'm saying. Let's start
Yeah,
with
let's
Williams
start
Grove.
with
We'll backtrack. Williams Grove, though, Friday night dealt with a couple showers. We went into the track. Didn't even get cars on the track until after 9 o'clock to do hot laps. Ended up raining again around 10. Very, very lightly. It was barely hitting the track, but it was enough for them to cancel the night, which kind of was a bummer, but we had a good time.
For sure.
And then we went back.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was very strange. Like the rain all weekend was just very light enough. It was basically drizzle. It was enough that if it was reaching the ground, like you could look up in the lights at times and it would look like it was pouring, but it was barely touching you. But if it was reaching the ground, it was enough just to make the track wet. And they had to rework the whole track, everything Friday night. That was a disaster. But we ended up going Saturday night. That was the big race. The Morgan Cup, $17,000 to win. Jacob Allen dominated pretty much the entire night. Led 28 of 30 laps. There was a restart towards the end, and he ran out of fuel coming to the green. Brent was coming though. He was in fourth. He was racing with Macedo, and who else was up there?
I mean, Shots was in the top 5 too, but like, those three were definitely closing on Jacob Allen, and so it was traffic. And Jacob was doing a really great job of working through the traffic, which was cool to see too.
Yes.
And I kind of wish we didn't have that last caution because they were definitely going to get there, but I don't know what they were going to do if it would stay green.
They were there for about 5-6 laps in lap traffic. You could throw a blanket over almost at least the top 3, if not the top 4, in the corners there, and you know, Brent was definitely closing. I think he was definitely the fastest car at the end. And then Jacob just stumbled off the restart, had a bad restart, and it came out that he was out of fuel, which is sucks to win that way. But me personally, and everybody keeps saying I'm wrong, but I think Brent had him anyway. I think he had his number on that restart, and I think maybe even if it stayed in lap traffic, he was going to get him anyway. He was coming. He was fast. But it was a bummer for Jacob. He quick time. It's like almost a complete clean sweep of the night, except for the last 2 laps. It would have been really, really something for him to win there. But he's been showing so much speed. I was really happy to see. I wouldn't have been okay with him winning, but it was good to get a true posse member a win there against the Outlaws. That's something that I think the posse needed, because the rest of the posse, man,
Not a good time.
not a good night, man. I mean, you had Danny Dietrich and Freddie Raymer in the B main. Freddie wrecked in the B main. Danny backed into the feature. He came up. He was hard charger, but
No, it wasn't Borden hard charger.
oh no, you're right. Borden was hard charger.
Because he had to take a provisional.
But he had to take a provisional.
Which is worse than backing in.
Sisney was fast. Matt Campbell was fast. Matt Campbell, shouts out to him. He got in the dash. He was up there, but he kind of sunk a little bit as soon as the race started. But he was up there battling in the top 10 for most of the race. Macri just didn't have a great night, but he didn't have a bad night either. He pulled off towards the end. And then Lance too. He spun.
He spun, yeah.
and he was back there like in like 12th to 14th position anyway. So just not a great night for the posse, except for Brett Marks being able to pull it out. So, but the posse's really got to figure something out at Williams Grove because really, I mean, the last 2 years or so at least, I mean, it's really just been the Outlaws kicking their ass. I mean, I think before that, besides Brent winning the National Open, who's the last posse guy to win? And the last person I could think winning was Lance.
Well, Brent won last Summer Nationals.
Right. But I'm saying besides Brent, it's been Brent and Lance.
Correct.
For the past like 5 years.
And then beyond that, it's like, but Brock, way back when.
Brock was probably about 5 years ago, yeah. Danny before that, a couple years, maybe a year or two before that.
Not a good time.
Yeah, so I mean, they're there. They got speed though, so it's good. It's good to see, and you know, Brent's helped carry the torch. Let's talk about Lincoln. You were at Lincoln, Chris, on Wednesday, the prior.
Yeah, that place was packed. Good race, you know. It's crazy when you know a Wednesday night show, seeing a place that was standing room only to the point like your cell phone wouldn't even work in the infield. I had to like leave the infield, so that was really great for them.
55 cars at Lincoln.
Right, and then the car count.
55 on a Wednesday night.
Right. That was the only race all week that we thought had no chance of rain. That's part of the reason why I went. I kind of thought the rest of it was going to be killed, and then
seems like everybody thought that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. We definitely thought for sure Friday night we were going to get lucky. Saturday night was going to be killed, and that obviously
ended up being the other way around. Yeah.
Right. You know, Lincoln, they have a good surface all night. Jacob Allen won there.
Yep. Jacob Allen. That's a huge story right there.
He went from fourth, and he was making moves. It's awesome to see that. I mean, that's his home track, Hanover. So that's great to see.
Yeah, that was the third father-son combo to win, I believe, to win at Lincoln, an outlaw race.
I believe that's what they were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Fred and Freddie, and who was the other one? Stevie Smith. And then you had Bobby and Jacob Allen, which is pretty cool.
I was waiting to see what the dad's name was. I was gonna say they really messed that trend up. Fred and Freddie, Steve and Stevie, and then you got Jake and Jakey.
Yeah, I mean it was cool for him to see him win. I thought it was going to be a little more emotional, just because knowing how Jacob Allen kind of is, but he was just, I think he's just oozing with confidence right now. Like he expected the fucking win. He came out. I mean, he was hype. He was, you know, typical Jacob Allen, but you know, he was just kind of like, yeah, let's go. It's another win, and that's awesome to see from him because. I mean, I know Logan's higher in the points right now, but to be honest, I think Jacob has had more speed most of the year. You know, Logan's been very consistent. He has a couple wins earlier in the year, but I think Jacob, especially recently, has been the faster of the two cars. I felt bad for Jacob too because it was sponsored by Dryden, and Dryden dropped him as a sponsor, and he had to stand up there and hold a Dryden sign. But I mean, hey, if they're paying the check, who gives a shit?
Right.
Man, I think it's even worse for Dryden.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at the driver that we dropped.
Bitch.
Still paying him.
It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that was a tough night, too. I mean, the posse, again, Macri couldn't restart a race to save his life.
Yeah, he was up there in the top three for most of the night, but he fell back because of restarts.
I mean, Justin Peck was there. That's who Jacob Allen passed.
Yep.
Brent Marks got destroyed by Dietrich.
Yeah.
From what I saw. So, not ideal. You never like seeing a tune-up race car, especially when it's one of our fast guys and a nice guy on top of that. But, you know.
Nicely correcting me here. Logan only has one win, which I thought he had two. I thought he had Somewhere Weird and then Volusia. But Logan only has one win, which is interesting.
He struggled all year. But
I don't think he struggled because he's fifth in points, I think. But
there's like 10 outlaw cars.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's like within striking distance of the points.
It just seems not the same as last year.
So
it's like not the same as like last year where they were like in the fight at this point in the year.
Right. Yeah, but Logan, I think last year at this point, Logan was almost one of the favorites to win, and now it's kind of like Is he even going to stay in the top 5? If Donnie keeps coming and Jacob keeps coming, he's going to have a hard time just staying in the top 5. But, I'm sure he'll get his wins. He's been really, really good. He's known to go on some runs. We can't keep forgetting about Brad Sweet either because he's been, he's Mr. Consistent. That's why he wins so many titles. He's just up there. He's gonna, there's a point in the season where he's just gonna go rip off like 5 out of 8 wins or something, just because that's how people, I know, especially here in PA, maybe people don't like him, but respect the hell out of him, man. I mean, that dude just goes out there and wins. Yeah, that was really it. Anything else that you observed from Lincoln?
I mean, it was just a great atmosphere. It's a long week, but great atmosphere. I don't know, just cool. It was a cool atmosphere to be in.
What do you think your beer count was?
For all the days?
Yeah, for the weekend. Yeah.
Chris at least had 90.
Okay, first of all, we didn't even bring 90
least
beers.
90.
I guess between all 3 nights, then maybe 90. Just Friday, Saturday speaking, a lot. I mean, we went with 60 Busch beers, right? Is that right, Jimmy?
I don't even want to remember it.
And Fireball,
SoCo.
That was just Friday.
Shouts out to Cotton Eye Joe from North Carolina. Came over, played cornhole with us, gave us some good ass bourbon.
All I know is Saturday when we went to track, Jimmy rolled in with 4 of his 30, and I had 6.
Yes,
but we didn't drink them all. We had friends.
We had friends that helped us. It's always good to have friends. When you come to Posse Country, you're always going to have friends help you drink some beer.
So we had to bring more beer, and then go get more beer.
Yes.
And more Fireball.
And more Fireball, more SoCo.
And then Cotton Eye Joe from North Carolina and his bourbon.
It was a good time.
So a lot to answer your question.
Yeah.
Don't do it, kids. Don't drink that much. It's bad.
Yeah. Drink responsibly, everyone.
Don't be a terrible.
Yeah, so we get just kind of regular races here, and then we got All-Stars coming back into town for Memorial Day weekend here for Port Royal. We'll be there all weekend. We'll be looking forward to that.
Maybe we'll count the beers this time.
Yeah, we won't count any beers this time. They'll just be consumed. So let's just go into NSRL starts tonight, guys.
Before we do that, Icy's going to lose his mind if we don't bring up Bridgeport.
Oh, yeah, Bridgeport last night. Fuck. Yeah, Bridgeport last night. Sheldon Hodenshield and Kyle Larson with a hell of a battle. Sheldon Hodenshield won. Whatever. But no, I'm kidding. It was good. It was a really, really good battle between them two.
And then Logan and Stuart started catching that too, and that was going to be another really good race there. We had a late caution in that one too.
Anthony Macri, I think, was hard charger. He came up 9 positions. He ended up finishing 5th. Awesome to see him bounce back after kind of a rough weekend. And also, Isley in here said, Donnie's coming. Pause. Well, he finished 3rd last night, and he was 4th. Yo, shouts out Rico Abreu for a podium finish at Williams Grove. Also, Carson Macedo was light at the scales, which was pretty crazy. But Donnie was, I think, he was like 4th or 5th at Williams Grove. So he has been coming. He's been getting more consistent. He's been running up there near that top 5. Kyle Larson does not suck. Kyle Larson is the GOAT. I mean, come on now. Put some respect on his name. All right, let's get into NSRL. And
speaking of respect, Landon Lacey is a great driver in NSRL.
Landon Lacey is pretty damn good. You know who else is pretty good? Josh fucking Aaron.
And Josh Aaron.
Josh Aaron's a great fucking driver.
I got the Ross Chastain Award of the week.
What? Do you smash some watermelons?
I did not.
You smashed a beer though.
I did. A couple.
Truck Series right here. We're here with a legend. Winner of the opening race of the Truck Series, Mr. Josh Aaron. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you. It was
Rin.
it was a Mark and Milliken and I think we're up there all night, and they raced too hard at the end, and they were teammates and got together, and I just got through it clean.
That's what it's about at the end. You got to just put yourself in a position to be there, and kind of almost hope and pray. But I mean, it's all calculated moves throughout the race. It's calculated to put yourself in position. Especially once you get to an end of a race, you kind of know who's going to do what. You have an idea of what each person's kind of probably going to do. So putting yourself in the right position, you deserve that, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Last night was not the case.
Last night was not the case, unfortunately, but
almost.
Shouts out Justin Dilts winning the inaugural Grand National Series race in the NSRL at Daytona as well. Where'd you finish, Josh?
4th, I think.
Upside down, no motor.
4th.
Parts everywhere.
I killed everybody, though. I killed everybody except for Dilts on the last lap. So,
well, hopefully 3 nights in a row here. Tonight we start the Cup season. It's the big boys coming to town now. Hopefully you could get another top 5 or maybe another win and really show out here for us Turn 2 Terribles, because I don't know how tonight's going to go for me. Truck race didn't go very well for me either. But
tonight's going to be a different one. Tonight's going to be a long... Tonight's going to take some patience.
Patience and strategy.
Last night I was really having to force the issue. You guys have your posse. So, I was a teammate of my own last night, so I had to be a little bit more aggressive and force a lot of stuff. But tonight it's going to have to be completely different.
Yes, let's give it up for Kayla McCarthy stepping up, being race control for this season of NSRL. Let's give a clap right there. Thank you for Kayla showing up. Retired as a driver, now is going to race control, and pretty excited for that. Excited to see. We have a full field. We're going to have at least 32 cars.
Hey, Kayla's in chat. She said EOL's for everyone. Kayla always had an opinion. Now her opinion actually matters tonight.
Yeah, for real. It's the only one that matters, really.
Right.
Don't piss her off, boys.
Yeah. So Kayla, I always liked you.
Too late now. Too late now, Jimmy.
Kayla, I'm sorry for Talladega.
Yeah. Just always remember that Chris is the one that wrecked you at Talladega for the win last.
Ryan made me do it. No, tonight should be fun. I don't know. Josh and I are back there in the pit of hell. With Jeremy, so we'll see what we can do. I think I start 30 something tonight, so that's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna shake out.
I went to Lincoln.
Yep. Didn't qualify.
This is gonna be a good one. There's a lot of people that we raced with last year on different teams. There's a lot of new people. There's been a lot shuffled up. It's gonna be. I'm excited.
Yeah, we got Ashton Crowder in the field. We got Landon Lacey on Team Posse here. He's Tyler Isley. We got a lot of we got Sikosi, we got Dilts, we got us. We got Jeremy Zarfos out there. We got Jaden Bingaman, who was strong in the Truck Series last year, bumping up the Cup. So Steve Stripmatter,
Mad Max. We got Mad
Robbie
Max.
Bice, Briggs Swope. Shouts out, Don DeGroot,
Brian Pressler,
Brian BP, most popular
our hero.
Can't forget him. Our
hero.
Kyle Milliken, Wiggins, Daniel Menzies returning for full time. So we got a lot.
Good night.
If I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited.
See you at next year's banquet.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll let you guys know how that goes. And then next week we go to Rockingham, which I'm kind of already looking forward to. I like Rockingham.
Don, know that beers make us faster. Don't worry, Don.
Beers make us go faster. It won't be a Turn 2 Terribles podcast without a brew.
Don, you've got a 1 pass this week. Smeal's not going to be here tonight, so
yeah, we got one less plow out there.
Your yellow card's not going to matter this week.
Oh shit.
Well, before we get out of here, let's just talk a little, real quick about this upcoming weekend. We got the All-Star race, which is mind-blowing to me that we're at the All-Star race this week. We're halfway through the season, It feels like it just started. At Texas, we also got Xfinity and Truck running a regular race, at Texas, a triple header this weekend there. It's just insane that I don't have anything really to say about the All-Star race. It should be a fun time.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe that we're already there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had been talking with Brig earlier in the year about meeting up and trying to do something at the All-Star race, and then just everything getting busy and everything. And then he messaged me, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's this weekend!" So
yeah, right.
I'm with you. It completely snuck up on me. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I like the All-Star race. It's just
Me too.
Just a good time. Everybody has a good time. I enjoy it. I like to see them try different stuff. There's always pieces of it. You'll see some of the stuff next year. There's always pieces of it that they take out and throw in. You might see it at the Clash
good
next
testing
year. Right. I mean, I like to see them try new things. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
I think the next gen, this is going to be the real stage for the next gen. Can it save Texas? Because Texas has been not the most popular track amongst fans, especially since they did the reconfiguration. But we'll see if the next gen could really revitalize it maybe and put on some good racing. I think it can after Washington, Kansas. Kansas is usually a pretty good track, but if it made Kansas that exciting, I think it could at least do something interesting at Texas.
Yep.
And then dirt this week. Tomorrow night I'll be at Bloomsburg. We got the World of Outlaw late models coming into town, which is interesting. And then they're in PA pretty much all weekend. We'll see how the weekend goes. Chris, you'll be at Williams Grove on Friday. I don't think I'm coming up.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you, but that's the plan.
And then Saturday we'll see. World of Outlaw late models are at Port Royal with 410 sprint cars. We also got the USAC East Coast Series here at Sealands Grove. But it's gonna be like 95 degrees out. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Right, like weather to me. We just had a long weekend, and we have a long one the following weekend after that.
We have another long weekend next weekend. 410s are at Path Valley on Sunday, which is cool to see them going back there. They haven't been there in a while, so that's cool.
Just remember, I work on Sunday, so I won't be there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there either.
I have
but
inventory.
It's cool that they're going there. So
for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to go win. We're going to be 1-2-3 in Daytona tonight on NSRL. We'll be popping some bottles, probably later tonight. And
doesn't matter what.
We will see you guys. We're going to try to get back to our regular scheduled Monday night, this upcoming Monday, and get back into the groove of things. Thank you guys for checking us out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we'll see you next week. This is the Turn 2 Terribles podcast. Thanks a lot.
Peace out.
Later.